What's up? So this is the analysis from the trade that I took today. It was a short going into the morning here. The orange line is market open. So let's go back. Let's come here and start from the monthly. This is exactly how I did mine. So in this last price leg to the upside, this blue line is the 50%. So we didn't reach it neither on S&P or Nasdaq. We got this fair value gap here, which I expect us to top before we keep continue going up. I even expect price in some of the assets to get back to the 50%. Last month we got this bearish down close candle. What about the weekly? On the weekly, we're making a lot of lower lows, lower highs here. So much wicks, which I expect price to respect and continue with the downfall. This right here is the last week. The last week price action. We took the high right here. That's good. What I don't expect is price to come back to all of these weeks around here. This one is okay. We could take this. I'm just speaking from experience. I don't expect all of this to be taken. I think the price wants to make, um, you know, all of this low resistance liquidity run. So when we go to the daily, we got here a change in the state of delivery, which was made yesterday, I guess. Yes, Monday. Today is Tuesday. So we made a change in state of delivery in S&P. We didn't do it on Nasdaq. I don't expect this to be much of a change in state. We kind of did it, but I think we're gonna lack displacement to the upside and then keep falling down because there's a lot of stacked lows here, and this is the monthly fair value gap, and the 50% is where it's around here. So I expect this low to be taken also. We could even go back even more. I expect at least one of the assets to go back to the 50%. So this week and the previous one, we're going up. If we go to the 4 hour, here is our change in the state after taking this low. Strong push to the upside. To me, this is a strong low, which I expect to be respected by now. So we go up, we come down, we make another low. This is the low that makes the new high above this week. So it's the one that breaks structure to the upside, not only with this wick right here, but with this candle close. You see right above this wick. To me, this is a valid break of structure. So, which is the low that made this high, this break of structure from this price point? This is low. So I don't expect price to come back down and take this one. But I do expect price to come back down and take this one. See this green line sell side liquidity? Is actually what happened on Nasdaq, and I think that it did happen also on US 30. So from here, okay, I expect Nasdaq to come back down, take this. Well, as you can see, these lines here to take this sell side liquidity, and from here go up. Why? Because this is a market maker sell and buy model. This is the sell model, and now we're doing the buy until this previous buy side liquidity. Why did I choose this one? Well, let me check. I don't even remember. Because the last leg down. Okay, so in the weekly, I don't really count this candle much because it's like every one of this is letting a big wick. This one was quite bullish, so I'm just by this candle, I'm kind of expecting a little bit of retracement and from there keep going down. Why don't I do a Fibonacci? Because from here to here, we already reached the 50%. If you want to see it from this week to this low, we did also on the next one, you see. So I don't really think that it's necessary to draw a Fibonacci because it's already been retracing all the time and making that 50%. So I think all of these weeks are just low liquidity, low resistance liquidity runs. So when we do this first start of retracement, I expect maybe a few more candles, not taking this um, weekly high because we are, like I said, falling all the time, retracing back to the 50% and then keep falling. In this case, we got above the 50%. We are in the golden zone. I don't expect much going up. This is also from experience and from practice. I can't tell you exactly what I see, why I see what I see. So we got this weekly liquidities on the daily. This is the last leg down because it's the one that breaks structure here. Um, I don't know. I kind of expect price to come back up and take this buy side liquidity, and after that to keep falling down. I actually do. I can't really explain why. It's like some form of manipulation. We've been falling down, retracing all the time, and it's the first time we're closing bullish the week. I just expect like, well, see, here's a fair value gap. Here's another fair value gap. We break those. We close above the fair value gaps. We inverse them. This huge week here, respecting this bullish fair value gap. I don't know, man. I'm just expecting this leg to get disrespected, take the liquidity from here, and then dump again. On the monthly, we have this price point here, which I'm not sure how it's called. I'm gonna call it fair value gap. It's not fair value gap, but whatever. So I expect price maybe to come back up here and then dump. We don't know. We just have to observe and do whatever we have to do after price shows us what it wants to do, you know. So we took this fair value gap from here. We started pumping again, made this low, here. If we go to the 4 hours, we're having this fair value gap. It's being respected, but this is the last leg down, which comes up, makes this low. Okay, so we got this low here, right? This is, to me, like the unbreakable law because it's the one that made the new break of structure. Okay, so this is not a break of structure because we still got this wick here. It's not a candle closure. Okay, so we come again, and in my eyes, I see another wick, doesn't count, and here we got a candle close above. So this low is the low that made this high, which took this one and broke structure. So to me, this is a solid low. But I think that this is a weak low. Why I think that? Because it's like a price usually does things like hold on, let me show you. Uh, So you got this sell side liquidity, right? Price is coming down, takes form of sell side liquidity, maybe dumps one once more, and then changes the state of delivery, retraces back to the change in state, and from here it kind of goes up. Maybe yeah, makes there an SMT, comes back down, takes all of this liquidity, and from here goes up again, takes this liquidity, and maybe starts dumping again. It depends on if here this is a solid sell side liquidity, which in this case, in the bigger time frame, it wasn't. This is not a solid sell side liquidity because to the left of us we don't have anything like solid, you know. We didn't even take this one. You see how much lows we got here stacked. So this is not much. I mean, yeah, we took those, okay, but like it's not a solid sell side liquidity. So I really expect price to not skyrocket from here. Just if it started going up and breaking here this making a changing a state on the 4 hour, I just expect price to take some form of liquidity and then keep dumping. And in his way up, we can see this is exactly what I draw here. A lot of highs and lows, a lot of highs and lows, which price should go back, take them as it did here. And after taking them, going up again, taking some form of liquidity, and then dumping again. So why does this low take this low? Why doesn't it go back until taking this one? In my opinion, it's just because this is the solid low that broke this high. Then whatever price does here, this is the one that's gonna be taken if we didn't reach a good liquidity zone yet. So it would be different if we had this. If this high was taken, then I don't expect us just to take this low. I expect us to keep dumping. Okay? In this case, we didn't take this good high. So I just expect price to take all of those lows and then keep going up. So this is kind of what happened today, and it's what I had on in my mind today. So on that's why my take profit is here. Okay, going into the day, I wasn't sure if I wanted to take longs or shorts because what I really want to happen is to take this buy side liquidity and from here short. So we were here in this candle. Well, actually, let me check the 1 hour. So we were on this candle. This no we were where were we here? Something around here. So we're having a lot of highs. Well, just one because this one took all of the previous ones. That kind of tells me that um, the liquidity is taken, but we make a high right below this one. So to me, this is a strong, I mean, a relative equal highs. So it's a point where price wants to go to take both of them before dumping again. So price a lot of times does that. It goes up, it stays just right to the other high, and then comes back down just to take everyone out, and comes back up, takes this form of liquidity, and we're done. From here, we can start dumping. We can either do this and take the internal high once more, and then from here dump. You can expect price to come to the changing state of delivery, or it could just dump harder and harder. It depends. So in this particular case, um, I'm saying the price is letting this price. I mean this point in price here. The red is the Tokyo session, yellow is London session. If we go down to the 15 minute, I'm waiting for market open. What I always want to see at market open is it's some form of manipulation, whether it be going up into a fair value gap or taking some form of liquidity. In this case, and at 9:30, as you can see, we didn't take this high to the left of us, but we actually did on Nasdaq. So this could be a manipulation, not just because it's an SMT, not just because we took it on one asset and not in the other, but because on Nasdaq we're taking the higher price point of that New York session from 7 a.m. in the morning on here on Nasdaq. So to me, when I see this SMT gets invalidated in the lowest low in between these two highs. So it got invalidated very quickly because as soon as price touches this low right here, which is the lower low in between these highs, this SMT gets invalidated. That's why I don't have it marked. But why do I keep am I still interested in shorts? Because we got this low here and this low here. It's like we're building lows just to go up, manipulate, and then manipulate again, which we did only in one asset, which is the Nasdaq. And from here, it's like S&P is not managing to go up. There's no more liquidity to the upside. I mean, this is the one and this, but it's like we don't have much more to go and take. And the closest liquidity is right here. And because of what I explained to you before, this is the solid low that made the new break of structure. So whatever other low we made on price, to me, it's a perfect point to go and take, and after we take it, we keep going up. So in this case, is this one. You could look at this one, yeah, but like in the bigger time frames, which are the important ones, you can say it like this. I mean, what is this? This is nothing, you know? You have to wait for price to keep building things. We got only like one inducement here. We took it and then went up. We are still on the 1 hour. If you see the bigger picture, you see this is nothing. We have to look at the bigger time frames always. So this is the last leg down on the 4 hour. Break of structure here. This is the lowest low which we can take because it's not this solid low, the lowest low. It's the next lowest low. This is the one that I expect to be taken. I think you can kind of understand me. So I keep going down through the time frames. Usually, what I would like to see, as I said before, we're letting this price here, this buy side liquidity, which I call internal buy side liquidity. Why? Because the external one is the on the bigger time frame. To me, is this one. Why? Because it's the one that made the last leg to the downside. See, from here to here. You could argue that it's this one, but well, if you see it on the daily, this is the one. Okay, it could even actually be this one, but like these are up candles. I see it from here. If we, I don't know, if we go to the 12 hour, it is pretty clear that this is the last leg down, okay? To me, this is the point. I guess it's experience, um, coupled with everything that I told you. So I expect price to go up. I expect to take longs. We are letting here a point of liquidity right below another one, so this makes relative equal highs. So this is a strong um, point for the price to reach. So going into the open, I was most likely looking for longs. Why did I short? That's what I'm gonna try to explain now. Because at the open, right at the open, I expect some form of manipulation. If the manipulation was in this leg here or in this leg here, and then from here, it makes a change in state of delivery to the upside with displacement and lacks displacement in the manipulation leg. To me, that would be a long opportunity to come back up and take these highs. However, it's like we don't have any high here to help price to go hunt stops. Okay, it's like in my eyes, this is a big leg with nowhere to go for price. This is a pretty big leg to retrace and take some. I mean, take just to take this liquidity here. It's not that much. So I was waiting. I was expecting to take some form of manipulation to the downside to then go up. And what I see right at the open on the 1 minute is price going up, making a huge wick. And then I waited for price to close, making a change in the state of delivery, which it did on S&P. And it didn't do it on Nasdaq because I don't count this as a change in state of delivery, because to me, for there to be a change in state of delivery, I need to see more than one up close candle, um, like closed by a bearish candle below the candle body. So as we are making a lower high on ES and a higher high on Nasdaq, and we don't have any other thing to go hunt here on this leg. I mean, you could see, look at this one or this one, but whatever. I wasn't so aware of these highs here because they don't really look special. If you see it on the 5 minute, there's nothing. Okay, this is nothing on the 1 minute. We have to be aware of the higher time frames. So we make this SMT, which gets confirmed after this candle close, because it's the one that makes the change in state of delivery. This low is already taken, so the SMT is done. However, even if it's already completed, in my head, um, I'm seeing like S&P is not able to make a higher high. It's like it's lacking force to the upside. Nasdaq did, but did a huge wick right at 9:30, taking this high, which is the New York, a higher high of all New York. And from here, we start dumping with force. Look at this power from this wick to this low. We close really bearish. We have a change in state on S&P. I don't know, man. I'm just expecting price to go down, take some form of liquidity, which I check on the 1 hour to see what's a good price point to reverse. But to me, it's pretty clear that this is the one, because imagine the people that has been longing. We said that this one is the low that make the break of structure to the upside on the higher time frame. You might not see it on the 1 hour, but if you see it on the 4 hour, this is definitely the one that made the break of structure. So this one you don't expect it to get taken, not before we take the buy side liquidity. This one should be respected. So where is the other one which should hold a lot of stop losses or sell orders? To me, it's right here. This is the one. It's pretty clear. Okay, this is why my take profit was until here, and Nasdaq went first to take it. That's why I took all of my position off. Actually, I took 80% when Nasdaq hit this sell side liquidity, and I kept a 20% open until I saw the first change in the state of delivery after Nasdaq took this one. So we keep going down through the time frames once again. Let's go to the 1 minute. We have a lot of liquidity here. Okay. I'm just watching S&P. I know I usually do that when I'm explaining. Maybe when I'm focusing on both of the assets in real time, it's different. But when I make a breakdown analysis, I just kind of look just at the one on the left. I don't know why I do that. So from here, we do this change in state, and I enter right about there. From here, we take this low and we start going up. I don't really care. I mean, I already made the trade. If it wants to take me out, then so be it. Price went down a lot, so I didn't want to wait for price to come up to this change in state because it's pretty small. So what I did was having my stop loss here. When price started going up, I was like, fuck, I don't like that stop loss here. And after I projected my TP until this price point, I see that I'm getting a 4 to 15. And if I put it there, which is where it has to be, it's a 1 to 3. That's good. I'm good with that. I didn't expect, I was expecting something like 1 to 1.5, you know? That's why I moved my stop loss. But I mean, I don't expect price either to come up here or here. But just in case, I put it above this high, like having in mind the spreads. So I got something like a 1 to 3 in my mind to take profit. I didn't want to take partials, and I'll explain why. I have to check a bigger time frame. So why didn't I take partials? Because I was looking at the bigger picture, and as I told you, this is the clear zone where price. I mean, what price is doing after taking this sell side to the left of us, it comes back down once more again, and then goes up, builds here price, and I expect to get all of these lows, and after taking them, go up again. Okay, this is what I was expecting. So this leg down, it's not just to take this low, which is, let's say, this. It's not to take this and not take this one, you know, and let that one there, because like the solid one, well, the solid one is this one, which is the one that made the break of structure to the upside, right? So I expect price to take the lowest low after the low that made the break of structure. So this is the one. I know that here we got this low, like this, but it already got taken, right? So I don't know. This to me, this is the one. This is the low. I was expecting price to take that one. It's pretty lonely there. People might expect price to come back down and take this one. I mean, this liquidity here, this one here. They don't expect price to go so far down and take this one. So they put their stop loss here. That's why I thought it. I mean, A lot of people, I think, had their stop loss there. Imagine you're a swing trader and you're in the 4 hour. Where would you put your stop loss? I mean, imagine you have been longing since you saw this change in state. Okay, you got your stop loss there. Price is going up, and you are waiting here for a take profit, but it's almost touching it. So you're like, I don't want to lose my profits. You hold this one to the downside, and then you move your stop loss here, right? Like that. There. From here, it makes another leg, and you do okay. I mean, after this leg, after breaking to the upside and making a break structure, you say, okay, this is the protected leg, and you do that, and you move your stop there. So your stop is gonna get triggered to get fuel to go up, right? That's what I'm thinking that you did as a swing trader. So price needs liquidity to move, right? We're building here these lows to take them, and we're gonna take all of those also. I mean, this is what price does. It makes liquidity. It's just about to touch this liquidity right here. It makes a relative equal high, comes back down, takes all of this, skyrockets, okay? And then dumps again. It's tricking people. So on the 1 minute, when we start falling, I'm like, we're definitely going down. It's coming up yet, but you see, we make an SMT. As soon as we close below this candle body, which is the last one from this price leg up, I consider this a change in state of delivery, so I take a short around here. This second short was actually around there, okay? It goes up a little bit, keeps dumping. There it is. Here I was really sure about this SMT. To me, the SMT is confirmed once the change in state is made. But we also got this fair value gap, and this inverse fair value gap got taken also. I mean, got this fair value gap got disrespected, so it became an inverse fair value gap. So from here we're dumping. We make this SMT. In my experience, this SMT should hold until we get the price point where I really expect it to take, which is this one, as I explained before. Here is that sell side liquidity on Nasdaq. And I took the trade on S&P because of this lower high here. I thought that S&P was more bearish than Nasdaq, was lacking movement to the upside. So I still hold. I don't take partials there because I ain't no pussy. I'm waiting for this one. There's no reason to price to reverse from here, which it starts doing. And I don't freak out because I'm thinking, I've seen this a lot of times. I mean, this SMT gives me a lot of confidence that we're going to go for the low that I set in the higher time frame. Usually we make two SMTs, but here's no room for a second one because if we have to make a second one, we have to make. I mean, we have to break also this SMT in some kind of way, whether it be taking this high on Nasdaq or taking the high on S&P. I don't expect that to happen because usually this SMT holds until you get the lowest low, even if the SMT is already completed once we get this low. That's why I keep the SMT right there marked. So from here, what I expect, because I've seen this a lot of times, is price to come up and just tap once this 1 minute fair value gap, taps it and then dumps again and takes the liquidity. And something really important, it's that I mean, you see the sell side that I was waiting for price to take, right? What do we got just above it? We have another low. and that is considered as a relative equal low, right? At least on Nasdaq. I know that it's not on S&P, but here it is. I don't expect price to do this and then go up. It usually has to take the liquidity, so I still on the trade. I don't care. And I wait for price to come up once again, take this high here. I mean, it started dumping, making a change in state of delivery. Kind of a change in state because it's not, because it's only one candle, but who cares? People are seeing price dump from here and they're saying, fuck yeah, this is going down. So they short again, they put their stop loss here. They don't have in mind this 1 minute fair value gap. I have my stop right above that high, which I don't expect a price to go take. Here it is. This is the top. I didn't even expect the price to close inside. I was hoping for a week inside the fair value gap. Whatever. From here it starts dumping. I don't expect price to come up once again. Um, I took the second entry here on the SMT. I could have taken a third one, but I was kind of cautious because I made a mistake, which was checking the US 30 and seeing this low got taken. And I was like, fuck. There was years without me checking the US 30. And I remember when US 30 got this low and Nasdaq and S&P didn't, we could reverse from there, right? And I was thinking about that. Even if I didn't see the US 30 take the Asia low on TradingView, it did on MetaTrader, and from there it skyrocketed. So it's just by experience. I was like, damn, I could be fucked because this low was taken. And after after I realized that it wasn't even taken. I mean, US 30 didn't take this low. It actually did to take this one. So I was mistaken about that. But whatever. I kept my trade anyway. I said it is what it is. From here, I see a change in the state. Again, here it is, changing the state. And I hope price to continue down. This kind of pissed me off this week, big week. I didn't expect price to come up again in the 1 minute fair value gap. But however, I looked at it as okay, so we're making this structure here. We're just coming up to take all of this liquidity without going above this one, which is what I always see. I see price entering the fair value gap and then dumping and like not taking that high, not even getting inside the 1 minute fair value gap again. In this case, we did enter the 1 minute fair value gap, but we didn't take that high. I don't really expect to go back up and take that high. We make a huge wick, which might confirm that we are still dumping. And I remembered to myself, bro, you have this low right above this one. This is a high probability zone to go take. So what I do around here is move my stops to right above this high with a little bit of room for the spreads. And from here we start dumping and I get 80% of my position in both positions because I opened one and then the other. 5% for the first one and 5% for the second one. I take my 80% around here. You see it tapped and started retracing. I didn't have time to do it so fast because I don't know how to set it on automatically on MetaTrader, so I have to do it manually. So once it tapped, I started exiting my position, so I exited around here, 80% on both. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch now to see what price does. It might go up and take this high and then keep dumping. So I'll see what we have. kept dumping, and from here it made this. I mean, it started making this SMT, and I was like, okay, if this holds, we're going down. We're going down, and we're taking this sell side liquidity because US 30, I guess, that didn't take the this sell side liquidity. Nasdaq did, and S&P didn't. So there was a little bit of hope for me to keep dumping and take this one on the S&P. Once we started going up here, I had my stops there, so I got out there. So my trade was 80% here on both entries. So a 1.214, actually not, because I had in mind the spread, so it's around here, and this around here. Okay, so I got 1 to 2, and I 1 to 1.81. 80% out there. The other 80% I took out right there on that high. Once price confirmed that didn't want to hold that S&T. So 1 to 1.85 plus a 1.54 for the 20% that was left. And from here we started going up, and we would have triggered my break-even point on the first uh, entry, and then my stop loss. So it was a nice trading day. For tomorrow, I expect price to. Oh, I didn't actually expect price to go up that much, but whatever. This is good. So now I expect price to come back up to this monthly fair value gap, or however you want to call it. You see this blue line here? This is the point where the fair value gap is not made. I mean, we were we today we had something like this as a fair value gap from this line to this line. That's why I drove that line, because there's no candle closure yet to confirm the fair value gap. So I was like, okay, price might come up and tap this zone, so we don't have a fair value gap left, you know? So it did. I'm gonna delete that line. We didn't have that line on Nasdaq because, as you can see, it already was touching this bottom wick. So on weekly, I'm gonna mark for tomorrow at least this one, which is inside the fair value gap. That's an interesting point in price. We got this relative equal highs, which to me are remarkable. I'm gonna mark them just in case. We might go up and take those. And even, yeah, we could dump from here. Maybe we could come up once again and take this one and then dump. I think it would be better to take only these two, let another one, and then keep dumping. Why? Because first we take some form of liquidity, and second we let another form of liquidity here to be close to this one, so it would be like for the future a strong zone of liquidity. To me, I am saying that. So I'm deleting this line here, this here. I'm gonna delete all of this. Like that. Okay. So for tomorrow, I would like to see some structure here. Maybe come back down, take the Asia and the London, and go up. I don't know. What I always expect at market open at 9:30 is some form of manipulation with lack of displacement, and maybe some SMT, and then continue with a higher time frame trajectory. which in this case, on the daily, we did a really strong change in the state now. So now the thing changes. This is a pretty strong change in the state. What about the weekly? Now we ain't got nothing on the weekly. We might just be retracing to some form of a 50%, but like I said before, we already retraced all the time to the 50%. I don't know what we could expect for tomorrow. Uh, I don't know. We would have to see. Maybe this. See? Make some form of liquidity. We have to let price build some form of liquidity to then go take and then expect a long. So yeah, I think we're pretty much done with the breakdown analysis. It took me a lot to explain, but it is what it is. There you have it in detail.